Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Another great edition of Bring It in the House podcast show where we spotlight musicians, entertainers, artists, and leaders. I'm your host, Millie Mills. Get your meal. We're here every Saturday night, 7:30 p.m., and it's such a pleasure. I have an extraordinary talent in the house. He's from the Bay City area. Woo! Bassist worldwide, phenomenal fame. Let's give it up for Mr. Tony Saunders.
Hello, Millie. How you doing, girl?
I am great. How are you, Tony?
I am fantastic. Excited to be on your show. Happy anniversary. Glad that you can keep this going for 5 years. And I have 5 daughters. So I'm really proud of you for being another sister, carrying on a tradition of doing something great.
Well, thank you. You are so kind. Thank you so much. I am just humbled and honored to be in your presence. I read your bio. I'm like, this man, extensive work. I'm just like, wow. And a lot of this hidden, I'm not gonna say hidden talent, but sometimes we just don't hear enough about all the talent that's out there in the world, and I'm just so honored, Mr. Raymond Coates, he referred you to me, and the rest is history. Now tell us a little bit where you're from. I knew you grew up in.
Well, let's give some props to Raymond Coates.
Okay.
That brother is one of the hardest working men, like James Brown in show business. And I'll always help him because this man is a friend. He helped me move. He's done things that people don't help people do. So he's a really good brother. He tries really hard, and I try to help him. And in fact, when we finish our interview today, I'm gonna finish up a track for him. And but he's a nice, warm person. He tries really hard. He always is helping somebody. You know what I mean? And that's what life should be about. We should always help each other, and do it like the Lord blessed us to do. We can do another day. And I live for people like Raymond Coates because he's been a friend when I didn't have no friends. And because when you go to move, don't nobody want to help you.
Oh no.
Raymond Coates said the time he'd be there, got there a little early, and helped me move. Not once, but twice.
Yeah, you're right. When you start moving, that's when you find out who your real friends are, right?
Right. You find out without a doubt.
So shout out to Mr. Raymond Coates, good guy. Yes, he is. He's like, hey, reach out to Tony. Did you ever get in contact with Tony? So yeah, I'm so glad that I did. Wow. So like I was saying, you're from San Francisco, right? But I was reading that you spent a lot of time in Harlem, New York. Tell us about that growing up.
My cousin lives in. It's actually I spent a lot of time in Harlem and the Bronx. My cousin is Ray Chu, and Ray Chu used to do Showtime at the Apollo, and he did American Idol. Right now, he's on his 10th or 11th year, 12th year of Dancing with the Stars. He's a musical director for that. And when we were growing up, he was playing with Ashford and Simpson, just a plethora of stuff. So, I got to see what it took to be the best because I was around the best. And, I grew up with him as a cousin and somebody to measure myself by. And seeing like talented musicians like Marcus Miller, Francisco Centeno, bassist, Will Lee, the guy that's on David Letterman, the bass player on David Letterman, and my auntie, Sephora Herman, she booked, contracted all the sessions in New York. And so I walked into her office one day, I hadn't seen her in a while. I said, let me go see my auntie. I walked in the office and waiting to go to sessions was Luther Vandross, Patty Austin, Anthony Jackson, Ralph McDonald. So I went around the Ralph McDonald studio with him and saw them. They were doing Richard T. and Steve Gadd. They were doing Deborah Law's record, and I got to see Anthony Jackson play. So I've gotten to see some incredible people play. I also, when I was 21, worked with, remember when James Brown used to go, Pee Wee, hey, Pee Wee. James Brown used to do that. So I got his name Pee Wee Ellis. So I got to work with Pee Wee Ellis, and he wrote like, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. He did a lot of incredible records. He also worked with the jazz lady Esther Phillips. So I got a job working with Esther Phillips through him. And then I played with him and Dave Liebman when I was 21 years old. And they said, Tony, you're West Coast good. We're going to bring you to New York so you can get New York good. And they showed me what it really took to raise the bar and to make myself great and to learn how to do a lot of really good things. And at the same time, give back to people. You got to give back because you can't take it with you. So I'm always giving back to the kids. Kids ask me for stuff, and I'm always teaching them what I know. And it's a beautiful thing when you can walk like Jesus taught us how to be. So that's my deal.
That's right. And speaking of giving back, here's Raymond Coates. He's already giving back, giving us some love this evening. He said, I see you. He just commented. Let me see if I can bring that comment on live. Let me see, can I do that? We don't have that little feature yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I see
there it is.
I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then right there. Yeah, so we already got people kind of chiming in. There's like an echo going there. Okay. But yeah, so you oh man, I don't even know where to start. This interview is so heavy because I'm dealing with a heavyweight right here. I'm talking about 2-time Emmy Award winning. Tony, tell us about that. You've already won.
Well, I won an Emmy when I was 14 years old, when I was just learning how to play bass. And I was working with my dad on a project called Soul Is. And I was working on that for the Black Panthers, and it was a PBS special. And I was playing a bass line to the young kids, poetry that went to grammar school. So Soul Is, it won a PBS special award, and it won an Emmy. And then we go back maybe 3 years ago, I was working on a TV show called Digital Journey, and I had to write Chinese music. It was about China getting the episode was about China getting the internet and how they were one of the last people to get the internet. So I had to go listen to Chinese music because their music is different than American music. They have a different scale. And so out of all of the jazz and all the funk stuff and all the R&B stuff that I've done over the years, I've written over 300 songs. I get an Emmy for writing Chinese music, so that was pretty blessed. It just shows me that I can interpret it. And I'm very grateful for that. Last year, I won a Telly Award you can look at it on YouTube. There's a Black Lives Matter video by Tony Saunders, and it's really a good video.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I was just looking up, I was like, man, I don't even know what questions to ask Tony because he's got your resume, your bio is so huge. I was like, man. So at what age, Tony, did you start, taking interest into the bass, guitar, and all of that?
That was 14. My dad was producing Walter Hawkins and Salah. His first group was Walter Hawkins and Salah. It was after Ed had his hit with Oh Happy Day. And Walter had a group called Walter Hawkins and Salah. And they made a record on Fantasy Records. And when I heard that bass player play Anthony Davis, that's all I wanted to do. I've been playing piano since I was 8 years old. So I was going to Conservatory of Music in San Francisco. I was playing piano. When I told my dad I wanted to play bass, he looked at me like, we didn't spend all this money on you, boy. What you mean you want to play bass? But he went and bought me a bass. And then I've been playing bass since I was 14 years old. So that's 56 years. And I've been able to put my kids through school and have a career, and have a house and have a family. And, it's a blessing. And the people I played with, I played with a lot of famous people. I played with Ringo, played with Eric Clapton, played with Dr. John, the Crusaders. I remember playing with Chaka Khan. One night I played with Chaka Khan. She was sitting in for Esther Phillips. And I played with Chaka Khan and Joe Sample from the Crusaders. And we didn't rehearse or anything. And Chaka sang all jazz standards that night. And it was incredible. It was just incredible. I'm like a little kid. I'm going like, I don't know how to be cool around you. I
Yeah.
said, can I have a hug and then I'll be cool? So she gave me a hug and then I was cool. I could play music.
Oh, at least you were real about it. That's why she's like,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Yeah,
said, I
that
can't
is so
sit still. I'm going, Chaka Khan, this is like amazing. Chaka Khan. You know, it's
yeah,
like
I know.
incredible. And she sang just like incredible. And, you know,
Yeah.
so I've had all of these experiences that, you know, it would humble some people, or some people might think I'm bragging, but I'm not bragging. I was actually
Yeah.
there, you know, and I thank God for the blessing that He chose, what the role He chose for me to do. And, you know, I'm always giving back to the kids, and I'll always continue to give back to the kids. I go in and talk to kids in juvenile, you know, and tell them I'm a brother from the hood, but I just did good. You know what I'm saying? I could have went over to the other side of the street, you know, but I decided to do good. And, you know, I've seen too many success stories. I was teaching in school when Tupac came from Philly to the West Coast. And, you know, so I saw Tupac before he was famous. And, you know, I've been seeing a lot of things, been around the Jackson family. You know, I've worked with, I didn't more work with Michael, but I worked with his nephew, Austin, Reedy's son. And, you know, and to be around them is incredible. You know, I remember Tito calling me up. He said, Tito, I said, who is this? I said, who is, I answered the phone. He said, this is Tito. And I said, Tito who? He said, how many Titos do you know? So it's like, you know, it's like to get blessed with being able to see all of this stuff. You know, it's incredible. You know, I love it. I thank God for the blessing, and I'm gonna continue to do that until He calls me home.
All right. I know that is so wonderful. And after 56 years of doing this, Tony, do you still get nervous when you're about to go? You do?
Right before I walk on stage, I get my stomach goes crazy. And then, but as soon as I play the first note, I calm down because I know I can play bass really well. And you know, so once I have that first note under my fingers, I'm cool. I can relax, and you know, I just go on and do my thing. My slogan is I romance the bass like I romance life. You know, smooth.
Real
I'm smooth with it.
Yeah, yeah. And you've had a beautiful life. Let's take a look at some of the pictures I was able to find on Facebook. Here's a picture of your beautiful family. God has blessed you with. Look at that. Oh, that is so beautiful. Yeah, I love that.
My mommy.
Your mommy
Yeah, my mom.
in the black dress. That's your mom.
And my mother-in-law and my wife Loretta.
Oh, beautiful wife, beautiful family. Your mom, they're all beautiful. Yes, and you have a lot to be thankful for. Yes, indeed. 56 years of doing it big. And then I saw on your page, when I went to your Facebook page, I happened to see a picture where you were giving an honor to the most recent loss we've had this week, Chuck Mangione, jazz player.
Yeah. You know, Chuck Mangione, super nice guy. Super nice guy. You know, I didn't get to personally work with him, but I was around him a few times. And one of my good friends, guitar player, Carl Lockett, played with him for a while. And but just a super nice guy.
Yeah,
you know, we lost a few. The other person we lost this week, Malcolm Jamal Warner. I spent a good amount of time around him. I have a T-shirt he gave me that says, "You have one life, now do something," and that was his company logo. And you know, he was a super nice guy, always giving. You know, always wanting to help people, and he was a great bass player. A lot of people don't know that he's a great bass player too.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize it. That's amazing.
He did spoken word and bass playing at the same time. He was good at it.
Very good at it. We also lost Ozzy Osbourne this week and Hulk Hogan. So this is, it's been a heavy week.
It's been a heavy week for losing people.
Peace, yes, Lord. And, you know, just having a moment there for the families, you know, we just pray that everybody, you know, just asking for peace and comfort during this time. So, yes, so we are live tonight here. We have the fantastic bassist, Mr. Tony Saunders, in the house. Woo.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by. And, we were talking about that you are the 2-time Emmy Award winner, and you got your first one at the age of just 14 years old. And you got the second one, you were about, what, 17? Did I read that?
I wish. The second one I got when I was in my 60s, just 3-4 years ago. It's probably, no, it's been more than that. It's probably about 7 years ago. And but it was in my early 60s, and it was great. It was great to be rewarded for something that I really spent a lot of time on and did the right thing. It was great. Wonderful feeling.
I know. And then for you to get it at 60 is good because, you got the first one very early, and then to come back and get one later, it lets you know that, hey, you're still in the game. You're still making a difference. We still love your music and what you're doing. That's what I hear that's what I get from that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's exactly how I feel about the whole situation. It's really good when you get something young. But I was working with the Black Panthers, so I got to meet Huey Newton and stuff like that. So all of that stuff meant a lot to me. These are people that have etched their mark in the world and done really great things. I remember, when they used to give out the lunches for the kids, things that they don't get credit for, but they did a lot of really good stuff. And getting to meet Huey and Eldridge Cleaver and Eldridge's wife, Kathleen Cleaver, I think was the name. This stuff meant a lot to me. So, and it showed me the right way to do stuff. I was actually around Ike and Tina Turner too, because my mom knew the people that worked for them. So I got to visit the studios of Ike and Tina Turner. That was pretty cool. I liked being around them. They were super nice. I never was around Ike, but I was around Tina a bunch. No, I was around Ike. I was around Ike when I played with Joe Louis Walker, right when he got out of jail, and he was a character.
I bet.
That's the understatement. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've written so many great songs, Tony, and I was looking on YouTube where your most recent single, is it Swagalicious?
Yeah, that Swagalicious came out a few weeks ago. My new album is called The Romance Continues. The first single, which was called Loving You Is Easy, was on the charts for 9 months. And now this is the second one they just released a couple of weeks ago, Swagalicious.
All right.
Swaggy Daddy.
Yeah, Swaggy Daddy. Let's take a listen to it, guys. Right here, I'm bringing. Hey, we just got a little taste of it. We don't want to,
Yeah.
hey, you want to hear the whole thing? Go to Tony's YouTube page and subscribe to his channel, Tony Saunders, or you can, buy that single, buy the album, download it, and hear all
It's
the
available on all the internet, Apple Music, iTunes, everything is available, Amazon. And if you join my my mailing list, you get a free copy of a song. So come on.
Okay, there. I guess you guys heard that. Yeah, you get a free copy if you join his mailing list. Subscribe.
And that's available to join my mailing list. You just have to go to my website, which is www.tonysaunders.com, and join the mailing list. I'll send you a song.
All right, that's it. That's what time it is. So, Tony, you were telling me before we got started, you were telling me about your family. How many children you have?
I have 6 kids, 17 grandkids, and 3 great grandkids.
Oh, wow. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, man.
They all think I'm an Uber.
Why they think you're Uber?
Yeah, because whenever they need a ride, they call Grandpa Tony. So
oh, and then you give them a ride, huh?
I sure do. No matter if I want to or not, I gotta give them a ride. Gotta help them out.
Yeah, that's so sweet. You're such a great grandparent. I can tell already.
They got me trained.
They got you trained, yes. Now, Tony, you're on the world. You do a lot of tours around the world. I mean, share some memories with us. What's one of the most exciting moments you've had?
I think I love playing in Europe, and I love France. It's probably my favorite country other than the United States. But when I was in Turkey, I met the guy that the Secret Service person that they were there with Vice President Doyle at the time, and so we got to go visit the presidential praying, and it was real cool, and it was really a big treat, and that was one of my highlights. The other thing was one other highlight was when I was staying in the Bahamas at Eric Clapton's house. Got to meet a bunch of people, Jerry Wexler, who had produced Aretha Franklin, Robert Stigwood produced the Bee Gees, and that kind of stuff means a lot to me. I had my first hit record in 1981, a song called "When Will My Love Be Right," and that it's always exciting when you get something where everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. My little cousin came up today. She said to me, "Tony, I didn't realize that people know you." And my friend said that you're famous. I said, "No, I'm just your cousin Tony." So it's like, it's really when kids like you, it's the best feeling in the whole world, because that's the future of our world, is the kids. So I get excited about that. And just doing my everyday, doing sessions for people and playing with people, lifting them up, making them be better. That's what I live for.
Yes. You get to do what you love each and every day. Do you know how many people do not have that privilege?
Yeah, I know it's a lot.
To utilize their talents and God-given talents that way. So that's beautiful, amazing thing. Yes. Were you going to say something, Tony? Did I interrupt you?
No. I'm listening. I'm a good listener too. I have 5 daughters, so I'm a good listener. Oh,
that is so good. Tony, I told you before, when we were backstage, I said, you remind me of my former pastor, Bishop P. Jakes.
Bishop Jakes. I know, I get that a lot. I'll be walking through the airport and they'll be going, Bishop Jakes. And I'm going, hey, make that donation out to Tony Saunders and tell him Bishop Jakes thanks you for making that out. And then I explained to them I'm Tony Saunders and thank you because Bishop Jakes does a lot of great things. And I have a lot of relatives in Texas, so it's kind of cool.
Yes, it is. And it's just so cool having you here on the show tonight. Tony, you worked with so many heavyweights. I mean, what can you say to some of the younger the generation that's trying to get into this lane with you guys, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say follow your dreams, and no dream is unreachable, because if you put in your heart and soul into it, it'll happen for you. I can tell you this. I was teaching at the school where Tupac came, Tamalpais High School, and Tupac, he went to class. He was really good at English. He was good at the acting, and not only did he do street stuff, he also did Shakespeare and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So he was thoroughly versed in everything, which was why he was well versed in everything. So he had. You got to be well versed. What did I miss out on when I was growing up? I got a C in typing, and little did I know, most of my life where I spent typing on this little, trying to text people. You know what I'm saying? So I should have paid attention so I could text faster instead of being a one-finger texter.
Yes, you can flow. Yeah, that is so good. Yeah, I just noticed we have some comments here. Mr. Arias Heard, he's checking in, and he said he loved Eric. I believe he's talking about Eric Clapton. He also asked you, how was Turkey? What is Turkey like?
It's a very the country. The rich people have a lot. The poor people don't have anything. And you think that we have a lot of poorness here. It's way worse over there. But they supported. I went over there 2 years in a row for Jazz Festival. They took care of us. Everybody I met there was super nice. And so everywhere you go, there's nice people. So Turkey was definitely different. I met a young girl who was super nice to me, and I gave her $5 a day, and she would go back and give that to her mother, just for helping me out. They lived off of that $5. So you never know how you're gonna help somebody.
You never know. Tony, we're just about out of time. Before we go, what can we expect next? What's on the agenda?
Well, I think the next single after this, I did a tribute to Whitney Houston, because so many of my friends have worked with her, and I did the song "Saving All My Love for You." So you should check out that song on my record, "The Romance Continues," and just look for me coming to a city by you. Say that you saw me on here on Millie's show, and then we can kick it. Okay, and you could always talk to me by going to my email, which is info@tonysaunders.com, and I actually will answer it myself.
Oh, Tony is so personal. You can tell that you've been in the business for a long time because you have so much love, so much to share with everyone, and that's a beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes.
I'm your guy.
Any shout outs before we go, Tony?
I'd just like to give a shout out to all the kids in the world to lift yourself up. Lift yourself up, and don't be scared to lift yourself up. And even when you think that the world is all against you, it's not. It's for you. So lift yourself up and remember that it's all for you. And you can yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can make it because it's right there for you. And listen to your parents. They do know a thing or two.
Yeah, that's really good because a lot of times kids are like, oh, they don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Nah.
That's really good. Parents are, listen to your parents.
My daughter said to me a little while ago, she said, "Dad, I'm eating celery and telling the kids to like celery, just like when I didn't like it and you used to tell me to eat celery." I said, "Hey, celery's good for you."
Yes, it is so good. Thank you so much, Tony, for joining us tonight. You celebrating with us during our month of July. We just made 5-year podcast.
Happy 5 years.
Thank
you a standing ovation.
Thank you, Tony. We're trying to push forward so we can be like you and have more guests on the show.
There we go. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Hopefully we can get somebody like the Bee Gees. I don't know if Barry Gibb would ever be available.
We can hook it up. We can hook you up. That's for sure.
Okay, Tony. Well, thanks again. And we'll see you guys back here next week. Don't you miss another episode of Bring It On in the House. You can always catch it, on the episodes you missed. Go to our YouTube channel, Millhouse Entertainment 1748. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much, Tony.
Peace.
Peace.